So welcome to In Conversation with Liz Ward. Today we have Anthony Ainsworth, who is the Chief Operating Officer for E.ON UK, who's going to be talking with us about the climate change challenge and E.ON UK's response to it. So a very warm welcome, Anthony.
Hi, Liz. It's great to be here.
So a quick 20-second resume, if you wouldn't mind, of who you are, just to give people a flavour if they haven't met you before.
Sure. So I'm the Chief Operating Officer for E.ON UK, as you say, and I'm responsible for everything to do with our large industrial and large corporate customers in the UK. So that's the provision of energy, power and gas to them, but also our net zero solutions. And prior to coming back to the UK, I was the global CEO of our energy solutions business for E.ON. And I'm a two-time alumni of the Windsor Leadership Trust programs.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And wonderful to have you sharing with us on this particular subject as well. So if you can share a little bit, what is E.ON doing globally, first of all, in response to the climate change challenge?
Well, I'm really proud that we are playing a major role in rising to the challenges of climate change. We've committed to science-based targets to reduce our carbon footprint, our own emissions, and we've signed up to the UN climate change goals, particularly clean energy, innovation in infrastructure, and sustainable cities and communities. We've committed to reduce our own Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions by 75% by 2030, and our Scope 3 emissions by 50% by 2030.
So Anthony, what were the considerations at the forefront of your mind when you were deciding how to respond on a UK level?
So whilst energy is very much in the news at the moment, and we've recently had COP26, we've been on this path to the energy transition for many years now in the UK. We're the largest provider of electricity to homes and businesses in the UK. And we've pledged for the last couple of years that all the energy provided to our residential customers and to small businesses is fully renewable. We also look at how we tackle carbon energy efficiency in people's homes, in cities, in businesses, and across Europe, we look at the grid network as well for the business there. We've found that consumer sentiment is changing now. This is very pro decarbonisation, and we've probably caught up in the UK, our European colleagues, even though the Scandinavian countries are probably a little bit further ahead. So we're really pleased that the way we've set our business, we can do the right things for our customers, help them save carbon and help them save money, but also it's the right thing for society. Not only is it the way we've set up our business, but we have a very strong presence politically and in the regulatory space to help influence and drive these changes in a way that is good for everybody, so that there's a right balance of who pays for the change, there's the right incentives for the change, and also the discouragement perhaps through carbon prices for things that are a little bit more polluting than they used to be. In terms of implementing these changes, we've been on this path in the UK for at least a decade now, which is when I joined E.ON, and we started to grow our solutions business. Our solutions business really helps customers and businesses be aware of their energy use, be more efficient with their energy use, and even now look at different ways to generate and even store energy. Across Europe, we're looking at our grid business. So we've got 1.3 million kilometers of distribution networks in Europe, and we're looking how we can make those smarter, more digital in the future for the literally millions of more connection points that there will be in the coming decades, so that that grid can balance the loads and work efficiently. Also things like storage as well, and virtual power plants, so that we can balance the renewable energy coming online with people charging cars at home and everything in between, so that everything is smart and efficient.
Anthony, how would you like to encourage consumers, both businesses and perhaps personal customers as well, to consider their societal impact in relation to climate change?
Well, I think the starting point is it is time to act, and everybody can take steps and be a change maker, whether it is in their home, their business, or their area of responsibility. In homes, I would encourage people to have a smart meter fitted. So you can see your energy consumption, and in the future, we'll be able to look at time of use tariffs and shift when we use energy to sort of more efficient times. Also, being aware of that energy use, you control it a little bit. Look what costs you money, where you use it. And it's usually heating and hot water. It's not leaving the lights on. It's not leaving the TV on. Those don't make a difference. You might also want to consider installing solar, which is very efficient and get a good return on investment. And in time, heat pumps will become the predominant form of heating for homes in the future. It might take 5 to 10 years for that to come through, but that will happen. And of course, you could get an EV, electric vehicle, or a hybrid, and just test that out. In businesses, again, it's a very similar principle. Start with, do you understand your energy consumption? Now, with the market prices the way they are, I think this is on the top of mind for a lot of CEOs and CFOs at the cost of energy. And that's a really great catalyst to be more efficient. Look at what you're using. Where can you save it? Where can you manage your energy better? Typically, in industries and businesses that have not addressed this, can save 30% of their energy bill by using less. But also then you can look at on-site generation, storage, and other things. So decarbonisation, yes, it might require some investment, but you get a return on that investment in business, and you get a return in investment in your home, and it's all good for society.
If you can give me an insight, what are you personally doing, perhaps at home?
So, I mean, the big step that I've got a hybrid car. I'm on my second hybrid car now. I used to only charge it at home, but now I charge it out and about. So, I can do a 30-mile trip and, no carbon emissions at all. So that's quite a nice start. And I'm definitely thinking my next car will be fully electric.
Really? Yeah, it's interesting, actually. I hear the pros and the cons with the fully electric cars, in terms of the sort of the full life of it, if you like. Yeah. It's a huge amount of energy to produce. Is it the lithium battery as well? It's got issues.
Well, they do. So yes, but you look at the total cost of ownership and the total cost of running, and it is significantly less than a petrol or a diesel car. Significantly less. And it's a little bit like wind farms. Okay, so 10 years ago, 15 years ago, wind farms onshore and now offshore needed subsidies to get going. But now we're a world leader in this, and the cost of doing it has come down. So the physical cost of building them has come right down, and actually you can pay money back into the system because they're so cost efficient. Same with solar panels. The cost of those has come down and down and down and down, and they are mainstream. And that's where we're starting to get to with electric vehicles now over the last 5 years. The costs are starting to come down. Charging points and networks are starting to increase. So I think they're at that tipping point now where actually it's very doable from a customer point of view. One of my previous roles at E.ON, I was the chief marketing officer for the group, and I produced a really great ad, which was about range anxiety, because people go, oh, I don't want to buy a car because I can only go 100 miles. And we just sort of blew through that and saying, well, you can pretty much get a car that'll do 300 miles now. And really, nobody does 300-mile trips. They think they do, but they don't. So that for me is the big push.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I think the hybrid model is actually quite I would certainly do that. I mean, I'm living in a flat, so the idea of charging at home is a complete no-no.
Yeah. No, that's true. So I mean, and that's a really fair point. But we start with the easy to get at things. So homes, streets, car parks, and things like that. And then whether you can get to charging flat by having a communal point out there or something is an option. But the other way is if the public networks increase so much, then you don't charge at home. You charge on your journey, or you charge where you work or whatever. So there's ways around it. And you're right, the range and the bits and pieces, yes, they're issues, but they're the 20%, not the 80%. If we can tackle the 80%, I think will make a big difference. I've looked at things like solar panels and stuff, but my house doesn't face the right way, really, to do that. So that's not really been an option. So it's the hybrid stuff is the main thing that I focus on for now.